Life forced them to look in the mirror. And it's not because they wanted to, because eventually there was nobody else left to blame. For years, it was your fault. Your fault they were angry. Your fault that they cheated. Your fault that they lied. Your fault that they couldn't communicate. Your fault that they couldn't commit. Your fault that they couldn't be happy. Your fault that they treated you the way that they did. At least that's what they wanted you to believe. You see, maybe you've lived through that. No matter what happened, somehow it always came back to you. If they exploded, you pushed them to it. If they disappeared, you expected too much. If they broke your trust, you weren't understanding enough. If they crossed your boundaries, it's because you were too sensitive. It didn't matter what happened. They always found a way to make you carry responsibility for choices that they made. And after hearing enough, you started wondering if maybe they were right. Maybe I am asking for too much. Maybe I am too emotional. Maybe I should have handled it differently. Maybe if I had just, no. Understand something. Healthy people don't need to rewrite your reality to protect theirs. People who take accountability don't spend their lives looking for someone else to carry their weight for their decisions. They own them. That's the difference. See, they weren't looking for the truth. They were looking for relief because blaming you felt easier than confronting themselves. Think about that. Every excuse gave them temporary comfort. Every lie protected their image. Every accusation kept the spotlight off of them. And for a while that worked. Maybe people believed them. Maybe you even believed them. Maybe they convinced themselves. But here's what they never expected. Life has a way of removing distractions. Relationships end, friendships change, jobs come and go, people stop answering the phone, the audience disappears, the excuses get quieter, and eventually there comes a moment when the room gets very still. When there's nobody left to convince, nobody left to manipulate, nobody left to blame, just a mirror. And that's a difficult place for someone to be, especially when they spent years avoiding themselves. Because mirrors don't argue. Mirrors don't accept excuses. Mirrors simply reflect. Life has a way of doing the same thing. It reflects back the habits that you've practiced, the choices you've repeated, the character you've developed. That's why some people spend years wondering why the same problem keeps following them. Different relationship, same ending. Different friend, same conflict. Different opportunity, same self-sabotage. Different environment, same outcome. After a while, the question isn't, why does this keep happening to me? The question becomes, what inside of me keeps creating this? And that's the question they spent years avoiding, because it's easier to point a finger than to open your hand and admit, I played a role in this. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I hope they finally realize what they did to me. That's a human feeling. And after everything you've been through, of course you've thought that. You wanted them to understand your pain. You wanted them to feel what you felt. And it's not because you're cruel, because you wanted reality to finally make sense. But here's something that I've learned. The greatest accountability doesn't begin the day someone admits that they hurt you. It begins the day you stop needing that admission to validate what you've lived through. Think about that. If your healing depends on someone else's self-awareness, they're still controlling part of your future. You deserve better than that. Your peace deserves better than that. This is why I always say the truth becomes impossible to ignore once you stop arguing with what you keep experiencing. Because there comes a point where you stop trying to convince someone to see what they refuse to see. And you start believing what your own experience has been showing you all along. That's wisdom. That's growth. That's freedom. Because once you stop carrying someone else's denial, you finally have room to carry your own future. And that's exactly why I wrote Phoenix from Stability to Power. Because Phoenix isn't about changing the person who hurt you. It's about changing the relationship you have with yourself. It's about rebuilding trust in your own judgment, recognizing unhealthy patterns sooner, and learning that self-respect isn't something another person gives you. It's something you decide to practice every single day. And once you begin practicing it, your standards change. Your boundaries change. Your relationships change. Your life changes. You see, life eventually forced them to look in the mirror. But don't miss what life was doing for you at the same time. While they were avoiding themselves, you were discovering yourself. While they were protecting an image, you were building character. While they were searching for someone else to blame, you were becoming someone who could take their pain, learn from it, grow from it, and create a future that was greater than your past. You see, they never expected that. They thought that keeping you down would make them feel bigger, but instead, your growth revealed everything they were trying to hide. You see, the real victory wasn't watching them face themselves. The real victory was finally recognizing yourself. Peace, blessings, love, and power.